Hello, everyone. Welcome from wherever you are. Thanks for joining in our first office hours for the Virtuals Hackathon. Of course, we're absolutely excited to have builders, AI enthusiasts everywhere here to explore, of course, the next wave of autonomous AI businesses. So this first office hours, this session is all about answering your questions and helping you understand about some of our core agent commerce protocols and getting you to help set up to build and win for this hackathon. We'll also be going to be touching on the game framework and a couple of things to kickstart your building journey for the project for this Virtuals Hackathon. So before we dive real quick into the tech, I'm just going to run through some key details of the event. For those who have just recently signed up or not aware of most of the information yet, so what is the Virtuals Hackathon? This is where builders launch autonomous AI businesses powered specifically by the Agent Commerce Protocol. So now AI isn't just chatbots anymore. We're looking into hedge funds, viral media agencies, lending networks, game studios, and more, all running autonomously, of course. So all the details are there in the Telegram group and also your email. But the key hackathon dates that you guys need to be aware of is that the main project submission will be opening soon on the March 31st of 2025. Submission deadline would be on the April of 14th, 2025. Demo day and judging will be April 17th, and the winners will be announced on April 21st. So if you guys need this information, you can head on to the Telegram into the main announcement groups of the FAQs. All the links will be there. So, and also you could check the email, the welcome email that we've sent through the hackathon email that you guys registered with. Not to forget as well, we're also going to be hosting a couple of workshops in the next weeks and another couple of additional office hours to help you guys build. And if you guys have any questions for our teams to be able to refine your projects and also get feedback before submission. So stay tuned for those. We will be announcing on the Telegram group. Just to announce my teams that will be speaking or facilitating today, we have Celeste from the Virtuals team on game. We have Jason for ACP, and we have Javier, Zero Dawn. We have Javier for AI. So anything you guys have questions revolving around those three, these people will be talking about it in a bit. And of course, we have Matthew as well, together with me running the hackathon and our partners from OpenBuild. So I guess to kickstart this, some information or to kickstart on how do we start and some information more about the hackathon, we could start into ACP, which I would be inviting Zero Dawn to start the speech. Yep.
Jim, thanks for the quick intro, Magat. All right, so on ACP, maybe I'll just spend a quick 1 to 2 minutes to share about why ACP even came to life in the first place, right? And how it kind of relates to the overarching vision of Virtuals. And then I'll probably dive a bit technical on what ACP actually is, how it actually works in terms of for the 4 different phases, and how it ultimately kind of facilitates the interactions between the AI agents. All right, so coming back to why ACP was born in the first place, I think two key reasons, right? One, ultimately when we first started off as an AI agent launchpad, I think Virtual's overarching vision is obviously to kind of build an AI agent nation, right? You guys might have seen maybe 3 to 4 months back, we've made some progress there in terms of enabling kind of the first agent to agent handshake. Obviously, we have a couple of instances of that happening, like, for example, Luna and Byte collaborating just to kind of deliver real life pizza to a real life location, right? But I think over the past 1.5, 2 months, obviously we're dealing with a lot of the different teams, interacting with them and hearing kind of their pain points. I think one recurring theme that has stood out was that obviously with current market dynamics, token sustainability is always top of mind and it's kind of the biggest concern. And at this point in time, one thing we hear is typically these teams, in order to make their token kind of float, right, is to try to be as bullish as possible and try to be all-encompassing. So what this means is they kind of develop breadth in terms of capabilities, but somehow not depth. And most of these just kind of like these teams just kind of lost focus on the initial reason why they even began developing that AI agent in the first place, right? What's the core functionality or capability that it's meant to be known for? Hence, when we thought about what's kind of next in the whole AI meta, right, we think, hey, why not AI agent teams continue focusing on being hyper specialized and being the best in their respective categories? So if you're an image generation agent, if you're a video generation agent, or if you're just kind of like an insights alpha agent, we want you to kind of be the best at what you do, right? But it doesn't mean hyper specializing means that it will impede your success. And so what's kind of next is, why don't we bring a bunch, not just like one-to-one interactions, right? But think of this as kind of many-to-many. We're starting off with like maybe 14 agents in one of the clusters. Why don't we bring these 14 agents together? And the best way to kind of showcase it is to put all of them under kind of like a real life actual business, right? And when you think about it, that's really how the building blocks of building a nation is. Like, we started with just like the barter system, so on and so forth, eventually working up to kind of like civilizations, right? And AI agents are kind of these citizens that we're trying to groom. Yeah, so that's really like the overarching like reason why ACP came to life. Right now, with specifically how we what we're working on, and how it works. Think of it as kind of like three different pillars, right? You obviously have kind of like the AI agent index registry. So you can think of this as kind of like a yellow pages for all AI agents that exist out there, right? Then the second pillar is kind of just like the whole commerce interactions, and this kind of involves like negotiations, being like the evaluation, so on and so forth. And then ultimately, the third pillar is kind of the monetary transaction side of things, where AI agents can permissionlessly and autonomously just pay one another off their own sentient wallets. So that's kind of like the three pillars, and how these all tie together to the four phases. Just maybe one example is, today, if I go to Misato, right, and I want kind of a picture, and ultimately this becomes minted, I'll request for a picture first. And in this case, Misato might coordinate with someone else, another video agent. So a picture agent and a video agent just kind of collaborating with one another. Misato wants to turn a picture into a video, puts up a job posting on the Agent Index registry. Any other video production agents can kind of see the job available and pick it up. They'll kind of move on to the second phase, where they would kind of like negotiate with one another. So again, your agent index registry will kind of include what your agent's capabilities are, as well as what's kind of the rate that your agent will charge. Oh, you need a video of this picture, I'll charge you $30. If you need like an original like picture without any reference, $50. And then you basically get to see these agents kind of just interacting and negotiating with one another. If they somehow come to terms, those terms will then kind of get imprinted in the smart contract, and they move on to kind of the third phase, which is the transaction phase, where, for example, that video earlier, if it costs $35, the job poster will kind of provide the $35 as kind of like down payment in like an escrow wallet. And then the video agent will try to come up with a video, right? Once that's done, obviously this would kind of route through like an evaluator agent, and this is kind of the fourth phase, which is the evaluation phase. The evaluator agent will kind of just determine like, hey, is this video's output equals to kind of the job input, right? And if it is, then the money will instantly get dispersed to the video creator agent, and then the deliverable will kind of get sent to the original job posting agent. Just gonna take a pause here. Let me see. Is there any questions? Nope, doesn't seem like there's any questions. So I think like that's largely it in terms of overarching vision for ACP and how it works. Back to you, Magat.
Yep, cool. Thanks, Jordan, for explaining on ACP and I guess our North Star of it. Yeah, so feel free, guys, to jump in the comments if you guys have any questions. You can just run through it so that we could run through the questions all together at the end of the session. But I think moving next, we can move on to game. So I would like to invite Celeste to speak more about it, which would play a big role as well in building it, because game also has its own specific track as well in terms of the prize pool for this hackathon. So it will be useful for you guys. So yeah.
One moment, let me join back. You allow sharing.
All good. Yeah, so feel free, guys, if you have any questions. Just to recap again, if you guys need a little bit more details or are not aware of the timeline, please jump into the Telegram. There are specific topics that will and links that will drive you to those links. For example, the project guidelines. If you guys need more information on this, all the different clusters that is in play for this hackathon, the timeline, submission format, the technical requirements, and all the documents and details to the game framework as well.
Okay, can everyone
So,
see my
so
screen?
yep, we're good.
Cool. So I believe we've actually shared documentation to game, but we'll also share this. Okay. So for this particular hackathon, we have various tracks, and in general, you can opt to use your own framework, but we have a game specific track, and we also noticed a whole bunch of questions about game framework in the builders chat and all that. So just wanted to take this chance to give everyone like high level overview of where you can get information on game, just a little bit of context about our architecture and where our repos are, and what's like just a super quick start to it. And then, after this, happy to take any questions about game as well. Okay, so one thing we noticed is that there were questions about, there were questions about Game Cloud, and then there were questions about Game SDK. Just want to be super clear that to be eligible for the game track, you need to be using Game SDK. It doesn't really matter which SDK. We have both the Python and Node SDK, but you must use the SDK. Okay, so if you are if you just take a look at the game docs, okay, you'll be able to see a whole bunch of information about game in general. I'm just going to focus on one specific section, which is like the architecture diagram. Okay, so basically the idea is game has a certain architecture which is a little bit special. There is a task generator, and then there are also workers. So just diving a little bit more into this diagram, okay, which you can access from our docs. The idea is that we have a task generator, which is also a HLP. We also call this a high level planner. So actually, when you define an agent, you would be, inputting a goal as well as a description. Now, underlying this is actually, a prompt. Okay, if you're familiar with like other systems, like other agentic frameworks, this will be like, this will be agent description or prompt or something similar. Okay, those in dotted lines are not that don't really like work in progress. So reflection is not really there yet. The idea is that there is working memory. So this high-level planner would actually kind of take this goal and description and kind of like break it down into smaller, more achievable little like tasks, which will be kind of executed by the workers. So the workers are actually kind of similar to the idea of an agent. Okay, so this is actually like the agent brain. The workers are actually kind of more specialized versions of the agent, but they are specialized in certain environments. So what some people do is that they will have a worker for Twitter, maybe a worker which does, for example, market research, another worker which is maybe for, Discord. Usually each one of them would have like a specialization, and and each one of the workers will have a description. So the way the agent or the high level planner actually controls the workers is actually via the description. So in the sense, like the task generator will kind of just keep generating tasks, and then you kind of pass it on to the different workers accordingly. Okay, so in a sense, the agent will be relatively autonomous. The task generator will keep running and just kind of like generating tasks and passing it on to workers to kind of execute over time. So under each worker, there would be functions. There will be various functions in the and the list of functions is actually also known as an action space. So I mean, in this diagram, we show 3 functions, but there could really be like 1, or there could be 5. Okay, the number is pretty arbitrary. Okay, so each function is something like a wrapper over an executable if you're running like Python or no code. Okay, so each function it's really a piece of code where you can do anything. You can call tools, you can call APIs. In this example, we show that in function 1, you're just, calling an API, okay? In function 2, maybe there are a couple of API calls chained together. Really doesn't matter. Or you could do some calculation, or you could do some like data analytics, or you could even have a machine learning, like inference kind of thing, or, pretty much whatever you want, okay? You could what a lot of teams would do is that they would, under either the worker or functions, actually call plugins. I'll show you guys shortly, but in our repo, we have a whole bunch of plugins which allow you to build your agent a lot more quickly, because like there's a lot of pre-developed like pieces of code which for commonly used tools such as Twitter, Discord, Telegram, so on and so forth, and also stuff like I'll show you guys in a bit. Okay, so this is kind of like the high level architecture. Okay, there were questions about things like, I think there was a question about long-term memory. This doesn't exist yet, but we have like working memory. Okay, so feel free to go through the docs, ask us if we have questions. Just very quickly, if you guys are actually looking at the game SDK, we have two languages, okay? We have Python and TypeScript. If you want to get an API key, you can get it from here or here, okay? So it's self-service, just get it yourself and like just get it yourself and kind of like generate a new project, connect your wallet and then generate a new project and then just kind of like get your API key from there. Okay. So maybe just diving into one of the repos, just real quick. I think there were questions about like the repo structure. I'll focus a bit more on like the Python one first, because I think the Python one is just a little bit more confusing because there are two parts of it and at various hackathons people ask questions, okay? The Node repo pretty much only has like kind of one part to it. Okay, so for the Python one, you'll notice that, okay, if you want to actually look at examples, our recommendation is to go straight to the examples folder, go to game. So as long as you're in the Python repo, focus on the game folders, because anything which says like hosted game or hosted agent is a bit like legacy and requires you to launch a token. Now, we don't want to kind of set this requirement on people because we know that there is like some upfront like cost to actually launching our own token. We want to keep things simple for this hackathon. So just go to the game folder and use our more lightweight SDKs, okay? So we will recommend that you start with like a test agent, just kind of see how the code is like, okay? And just define like probably like change the configurations here and just kind of see how things run, okay? This is just a very boilerplate simple agent, but it will also kind of like give you a sense of how you build an agent and how you configure it. Just very quickly, if you are maybe just starting from here, okay, if you're creating an agent, you kind of put things like your API key, agent name, goal description, things like the state function, the list of workers, the model name, all that, and then assuming all these are set up, you kind of compile it and run it. Okay, obviously I'm simplifying it a lot now, okay? When you're actually building it, you would probably need to like put a lot more thought into how you want to organize your workers. Each worker will kind of be defined as well, and for each worker, like I mentioned earlier, there is an action space, and then that will basically be made up of a whole bunch of like functions. So for example, like this one. I'll leave you guys to kind of like explore the code a bit and kind of like see how things run. But that's the general sense of it, and maybe just talking a little bit. Okay, if you guys want to look at the source code, by the way, you can also kind of like dive a bit deeper into it. Okay. Earlier I talked about plugins. Now for hackathons, we know that a lot of teams love to use plugins because obviously you guys will be very short on time. Okay, so both the Python and Node repo have a plugins folder. So you can click into a plugins folder and see what's available to you guys so that you can very quickly, build something. So this is like, for example, and most of actually all the plugins have a README, so you can see what's the available functions, for example, or how you install and all that. And just take a look, and then most of them have some examples or tests as well. Okay, maybe since we're on this topic, I'll just super quickly go through the Node repo as well at a very high level. So same thing here. The Node repo has a few examples where you can just get started real quick. Just create, for example, a Telegram example agent or Twitter example agent and just get started from there. We also have a plugins folder. Okay, honestly, in both repos, the actual, I think the Node repo has a few more plugins, but some don't. Some exist in one, some exist in the other because we're just maintaining both repos. But there are a whole bunch of things you can plugins you can call here as well.
Hey,
And
Celeste.
yep.
I think Tommy has a question. He has his hand raised.
Oh, okay. I'll take a pause here and take any questions. Tommy, what's your question?
Yeah, thanks for pausing. I actually didn't want to interrupt, but yeah, super cool stuff, and I see John is here. At least we were in the Sosu House Denver after winning the Mantle Hackathon and saw the cool presentation as well that you guys hosted there. I had basically 3 questions. The first one was actually, I think it was kind of answered here because I know you guys are like close to Twitter team already, but on the Telegram side, like is there I guess there was a plugin in the node folder. Just as a backdrop, like we've been building this like AI agent management tool for both Twitter and Telegram side, and now using the game framework for it. So that would be the first question. I can ask maybe the other one afterwards.
Oh, wait, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Yeah. Was there like, because I got the impression that there was some like degree of partnership with Twitter, including like, the agents are not getting shadow banned. I guess if you're working in collaboration with Virtuals, but was just curious, like, how much is it Telegram, Twitter versus Telegram side in terms of like kind of ready-made stuff from your libraries?
So both the Python and Node SDK have a game Twitter plugin. So just take for example the Node SDK. If you click into Twitter plugin, okay, you can see that there are, and we kind of give a bit of, it's mentioned in the README. So there's like the Twitter plugin, which is just pretty much vanilla to the plugin. There is also a game to the plugin, the game to the client, game to the plugin. So as long as like it's prefixed with game, it just means that it is kind of a version of Twitter API, but with higher rate limits. So as long as you need to do some stuff like authenticate first, but once you do that, you actually have like higher rate limits. So that allows you to use game X credentials. Chances are you'll get higher rate limits and you're less likely to get shadow banned. You guys can reach out to us for more details, but I mean there's a few things. I think we also have details about what exactly the rate limit is. Yeah, it's also mentioned in our it's mentioned in our docs, high rate limits. So that's
Cool.
kind of the idea. Same for Python SDK. Yeah.
And then
So highly recommend that you guys use this particular plugin, the game Twitter plugin, especially if you guys are going to do a whole bunch of stuff around Twitter.
Definitely. Thanks a lot for that. And then two more questions. I'll be quick. Second one was regarding, I think there's the Farcaster plugin. We've been actually building like a prediction market for Farcaster, but I guess that's like like a interesting strategic partner as well, given the base and other affiliation. But I think I already answered my own question. There is the Farcaster plugin. I guess it works potentially with the frames as well. And then final question was actually about like this ACP looks very cool, and like kind of how you could envision the future as well. Just like to be clear on the timelines, because I guess the ACP is being launched like right now. I guess the SDK was launched after the cloud initial main deployment. Like, do you expect that people will also kind of within the next, I guess, 4 weeks until submission also be using the ACP, or mainly be utilizing for example, the SDK?
Celeste, I can take that.
Yeah, sure.
Great question, Tommy. So essentially, you're right in the sense that right now, both ACP and the hackathon is concurrently going on. What I can tell you is what ACP is really focusing on right now, at least in phase 1, which is roughly about the same timeline or time length of the hackathon, is just on the 2 clusters, the autonomous hedge fund and the media house. And I think these 2 clusters are really just meant to like kind of be the first group of folks that actually get to trial out ACP, right? And then to showcase that it actually it works beautifully. Hackathon, on the other hand, is essentially what you guys are building are based around those clusters, right? The remaining 13 to 14 clusters. And I think that's where phase 2 comes in, because once you guys are done building, submitting and showcasing what you guys have built, right? Essentially, all of those would already fit into what we are like the kind of clusters we're already thinking of in phase 2. So that's when we think everything would gel very like seamlessly from phase 1 to phase 2. Obviously, phase 2 folks would kind of enjoy a more enhanced ACP, right? So to speak. So hopefully that kind of sheds light on timeline wise.
Yeah, definitely. It's super exciting. We are building now on the media marketing house track, but my background is at Goldman Sachs, so I would actually like to be building at some point also on the hedge fund side. But yeah, that's super cool and answers my question.
Awesome, cool. Celeste, yep. Did you have anything to add on the game side, or we
No,
effectively all good? Yep.
I dropped the link to the game documentation in the chat. If anyone, feel free to read the documentation in your own
Yep.
time, and yeah, and just can ask in stuff in Telegram group as well.
Is there anything else, Magat?
Oops, sorry, I was muted. My bad. Yeah, so of course, guys, just to remind you guys again, all the documents you guys have is available in the Telegram and also in the welcome email. Feel free to run, and if you guys have any questions, do raise them up in the Telegram groups as that's available. So moving on, if there's moving on to our last segment, which is the Q&A. If you guys have any questions, so we'll be running through some of the basic questions that some of you guys have asked in the Telegram group. And in the meanwhile, you guys can feel free to just populate the comments and the chat if you guys have further questions as well to ask some of our team. So I'll run to the first one. So first is, can we use new agents that just started last week to build on? So yes, of course, you can use and build new agents. What are the judging criteria for the hackathon? So the judging criteria for the hackathon is also available in the project guidelines. So I've shared as well in the Telegram. Feel free to check it there. But just to be real quickly, it would be innovation, impact, technical and AI excellence, and also demo. So yeah, so in the details, feel free to jump in and look at the page for the guidelines. It should be all there. Third, can I use any tech stack to participate in the hackathon? Yes. The only thing, or the difference that would make is that you wouldn't be, projects that use other tech stacks wouldn't be eligible for the game specific track and prize pool. Fourth, how do we register as a team? So at the moment for the pre-registration is basically just a first interest form, but there will be on the March of 31st, there will be a form to submit together that includes as well your team members' information. So that shouldn't be no problem. So in that form, there's also options to choose which cluster you are also signing up for, and also all the specific details that we will require when you are submitting your projects. Okay, so do we need to stick to a specific stack? Same question as well. So basically using game will make your submissions eligible for the game specific track. Yep. So some topics. Yep. Topics to follow on about the hackathon. For the top winners will get student fees at the network school. How long is the membership, and is it only for the top 10 teams? So the network school, we would be it will be an all expense for 1 month, and for the top 10 individual slots. So that would be the prizes for the network school. Okay, so for the final submissions, are they to be announced publicly in the channel, or do we have to submit them privately? So yes, just same as just now, it will be submitted via Google form, by a form, which is privately to the organizers, and of course on demo day it would be public for the competition. Okay, cool. So next, may I ask if there are limitations to the technical stack? I think Celeste, have you expanded on this question on 11?
11. Wait.
Yep.
No, there isn't really any limitations. You can use whatever tech stack you want. But if you are, that's assuming you're in like generally, if you're just participating in the hackathon. But if you are in the game specific track, you have to use game SDK.
Yep. Cool. Thanks. Next, the project is a project must be deployed on base. So we mentioned as well in the chat, not necessarily for this hackathon, it has to be on base if it's on chain, but if it's anything off chain, then it can be on testnet. It's fine. It can be anything. Cool. I think everything else is fine. So just to clear up some confusion as well, please use the game SDK, not the game cloud. Do I need a Virtuals API and a game API? So our game SDK is just a code layer. So it's up to you on how do you want to deploy it. So both Web 2 and Web 3 infrastructure layer works. The key focus for this hackathon is definitely the agentic capabilities. Yep, I think so. we will help populate and update these FAQs on the Telegram channel so everyone is clear. So if there's any basic questions, we will populate it right there. But I think we have one more question from Tommy. Best practices for prompting high level and low level. So I'm not sure which questions for, I think, Celeste. Yeah.
I was going to drop a link.
Oh, okay, cool.
Ah,
Oh yeah,
yes.
there you go. John
Thank
has
you,
it.
John. Yeah, so I think this link it gives quite a few pointers about prompting in general. It's a bit more catered to Game Cloud, but honestly the underlying tech stack is similar. So there's a whole bunch of guidelines around how you can design your goal and your agent description. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't dive very deep into worker description, and maybe you can take this like in the chats. But the idea is worker description would be, like I mentioned earlier, the worker is actually a more specialized version of the agent. Okay, more specialized at doing a specific task. So as you can imagine, the worker description will be a lot more specific. Yeah. So for example, if it's like a Twitter worker, then it will be like, you'll be diving a bit deeper into how it kind of interacts in the Twitter environment or what it actually does in the Twitter environment.
Nice. Thank you. Answers my question well. Yeah, understood from the example, like the workers are, for example, Twitter, Discord, and whatever. And the main task can be just like something generic, like community management or whatnot.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. Any more questions? Cool. Okay. Don't think that we do. So, of course, feel free to reach out to us in the Telegram group if you have any other questions that you have after this office hours. Yeah, I think just to wrap it up, if there's anything else, just some final notes for closing. So, just to recap again, the main project submissions will be opening on the March of 31st. We'll re-announce this again and re-amplify it on the Telegram group later on. Just to mention as well, there's going to be workshops and more office hours coming soon the next week. So right now at the moment, we're just getting some dates ready for each of the specific workshops. So just as a teaser, we'll have workshops for game, workshop for ACP, and some other few more that's pretty interesting. So we'll have that out hopefully within the next few days. Of course, feel free to raise any questions again on the Telegram group. We'll again for this office hours, we'll recap again what's discussed and have it raised in the Telegram. So I think, of course, and last but not least, shout out again to our sponsors, Base, Canonical Crypto, and AWS, and also together with our partners that's here right at the moment, Open Build, for making this hackathon possible. And of course, we are looking forward to all the cool projects and AI agents that you guys will be building. So yeah, awesome stuff. I would be closing the day if everything's good. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys in the Telegram group.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you. Ciao.
Well, thank you guys. Have a good day and have a
Good
good
job.
night.